Hi everyone, it's Bev DeBono with our technique class for today. Today I wanted to show you how we could use a very busy pattern, and so I'm selecting this one, and actually make it into a double page spread and one that you can have a lot of fun with. Now this particular one is called Great Lakes, and it blends with our Serene Waters collection because I am using mats from the Serene Waters collection. So this is one idea of using that pattern, and I'm going to show you how in just a couple of cuts you can make this great page. Putting your busy patterns on a diagonal breaks up the pattern like this, because if you just had a page like this and you put this on your in your book, normally what we would do is just mat some photos and put it on there, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have a beautiful statement paper such as this, you can extend the life of it by cutting it on a diagonal and extending it over two separate pages. So this is the papers from Great Lakes with this beautiful lighthouse paper, which is rather busy. There was another grouping called Washington, D.C., which also had these stamps on them. And again, by themselves on a page, were rather busy. This was all on in that paper pack, the Washington, D.C. And you see how wonderfully it just blends the way that it's cut, just goes right across your pages. I also wanted to point out on this particular page, and I did it purposely on a different color background, is to show you that you don't have to match the backgrounds all the time. The one on the left that says Washington, D.C. is the pale blue, and that is in the paper itself. I added the stars. But on the other side, I used a red, and it's the same red that's in the stamps. So you don't always have to match your backgrounds on your pages. What's tying these two pages together are the colors, that pattern that extends from the left to the right, and the red, white, and navy. And now I was playing with this today, and I wanted to show you, you can take this same idea, and instead of going diagonally from left to right, you can go top to bottom. So this is exactly the same page. You see, if I held it this way, it would go this way, and this way would go that way. But because I was using a directional paper on these, it could only go in one direction. But again, this was a busy pattern here, and it just popped so much more by cutting it on a diagonal and putting it on two separate pages. So these are a combination. You know, I like to mix my collections. This was from a secret box. This was from Party Time. This was from Showtime. This was from another secret box. So I just like to mix and match the collections because they go together so well. And I just use the colors from each one. So now let's get started in making your page. We're going to start with your busy pattern. So this is one that is a very predominant pattern. And then you're going to need, if we're doing a double page spread, we need a background, two background papers. Now I am purposely taking these two papers here because this was from the Great Lakes pack. And when you first look at it, you say, oh, well, I haven't been to the Great Lakes, I'm not going to use that. But I'm really going to just show you how you can cover this with that diagonal pattern and still use this beautiful wave pattern on as your base. So because my pattern is going to have the bigger section part of the triangle here, I'm going to have it this way, and I'm just going to flip this around so that it's going to get covered in this direction. Okay, and the only other thing we need is a contrast strip to go at the top and at the bottom. So our contrast strip just needs to be 1 inch. So I'm going to take an orange from Serene Waters and use that as a contrast strip for the top and the bottom. Okay, so let's get our busy pattern. And what we're going to do is we are going to, if you have a direction, then make sure you're cutting it in the right direction. So if you have a pattern such as this, I'm going to make sure that I'm turning my paper so that I am cutting it with the pattern going up and down. And I'm going to cut this at the 5-inch mark, the 5-inch mark. So just one cut at the 5-inch mark. Now I'm going to take that paper and I am going to cut that on the 45-degree angle. And it's going to extend a little bit above and beyond, above and below the our cutting mat here. And we are going to just place it. So now I have my 5-inch piece here. I'm going to just turn it ever so slightly. Let me make sure I'm cutting this in the right direction here. Okay, so I am going to turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, gently rotate it so that you have 1 point on your cut line at the top. Remember, your cut line is the number that's close to the title, Creative Memories on your trimmer. And then the bottom point is on your cut line on the bottom. Now, it's going to just fit in there, and it might be just ever so tight. Not to worry, because it's all going to work out. It's going to be ever so tight, but just get it as close you can to those cut lines, one at the top and one at the bottom. Okay, so you now have it. It's not at the 45-degree angle. We're not using this. We are actually using the paper. So I'm going to repeat that again. If you have your paper on your trimmer, the top right stays on your top cut line, and then you're going to turn your bottom so that the bottom point is on your cut line and you have a nice diagonal. Okay, make sure they're at the cut lines, and you're just going to fit, and it might just extend just a little bit. Slowly inch your hand down, hold it very tightly. I would start cutting in the middle first, press down and go up, come back down to the middle, press down and go down. Okay, and now you have an almost cut through diagonal, and we're going to have to take our micro tip and just clip at the top corner and at the bottom corner. And the reason is because we are cutting past that cut line. Okay, so one is going to go at the top and one is going to go at the bottom. And then we're going to need 2 1-inch strips. So we're going to need 2 1-inch strips, and one is going to go at the very top and one is going to go at the very bottom. So find a contrast and cut 2 1-inch strips. I'm going to put one up at the top and one I had already pre-cut, and that is going to go at the bottom. Okay, and that is all for your cuts. And now we are ready to tape this down. So we're going to tape our 1-inch strips. One is going to get taped to the bottom, and it's going to go right to the very base. And then you're going to put a sticker on it or a die cut on it or something fun on it. And then your diagonal cut is going to go right above it and just touch it. So see, look, I've covered up that Great Lakes. Now, I like to use my repositionable tape on the little points. And the reason I do that is so that it doesn't lift up when I'm trying to get it into my album or when I'm working with it. So on my silicone mat, I'm putting the repositionable tape right on my points. And then I'm using the regular tape for the rest of my diagonal piece. And you're going to put it right above, if you're working on the right-hand side, right above your 1-inch strip. How sharp is that? And then you're going to do the same thing to the other side, but now you're going to put it, the 1-inch strip at the top. So the 1-inch strip is going to go to the very top, all the way to the tip top. And we're going to use the same method with the diagonal strip, which is regular tape and then the repo tape on the points so that it doesn't lift up. And again, I am covering this section that I would not have used ordinarily, but the paper is just so pretty that had to do it. Okay, now with that, by using a 5-inch strip for your patterned paper, we are able, and then the 1-inch strip on the top and bottom, you're able to make, when you put the two together, a seamless page that goes from left to right. And it looks really cool. And the rest is just adding mats. And so I'm going to add, well, first I'm going to add a little sticker to the top, sticker to the bottom, or you could even use a laser cut, embellishments, anything like that. I'm going to add some seagulls to the top, and I have some starfish on the bottom. And the rest, as I said, is just adding some mats. So these were some extra mats I had from Serene Waters, but your mats could all be 4x6. Or I had some that were 4x4. So I'm going to just lay some mats here. As I said, these were all from the Serene Waters collection. They go so well together, these collections. So your mats will be 4x4 or 4x6. So let me show you the 4x4. So it's going to depend what paper you're using. So the reason I went with 4x4s on this Washington, D.C. one was because I had the label down here at the bottom, which I did not want to cover up with a 4x6. But on the other side, I did 3 4x6s. So they don't all have to match on both your pages. Your mats can be different sizes. Okay, so go ahead and add your mats. And then if you have any embellishments, we can go ahead and add those. I'm going to just take down my mats. And make sure that you are evenly spacing your mats. I like to have the top ones all start. So if my mat is a 1/2 inch down from the top, at the top, then the one here is also going to be a 1/2 inch down from the top. This way I've got an even look across the top or across the bottom. So we're just quickly adding these mats. I have some seagulls on the mats. I want to make sure they are flying right side up. We don't want seagulls going upside down. That's no fun. And just finishing the mats on this side. So this is a great way to use up a lot of the mats you have in your collections. Some of these are rather tonal, which is nice. Again, keeping your line straight across the top or across the bottom where your mats are lining up. It's just easier on the eye. And then you're ready to add some quick embellishments or titles. And I just search around for embellishments and titles from many different packs. I have What a View. I'm going to do At the Marina with my boat down here. So you can just add lots and lots of fun things to your page. I am mixing and matching different collections. Serene Waters, just working with the colors. And then here we have another boat and sunshine. Okay, so just like that, your page comes together. So this is our technique for today. It is the 5-inch diagonal cut that extends the use of your busy patterned paper. So tell me which one you like the best. Do you like the lighthouse pages? Do you like Washington, D.C.? Or do you like the birthday pages, which is the same technique, just put in another direction? So I hope you enjoyed the technique. Please follow my YouTube channel. It's Bev DeBono Designs. I post every week, and I have fast and fun pages for you to see, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.